Welcome to the Vitality Coach Podcast with the Mojo Maker and host, Nikki Fogden-Moore, the Vitality Expert. Dedicated to helping you be the CEO of your business and your life with special industry and life-leading guests, top tips on how you can create that magical blend of healthy, wealthy, and wise for CEOs, entrepreneurs, founders, and people who do things with life.
Hi guys, welcome back to our Triage podcast on the Mojo Maker show at the moment. I have seconded my wonderful esteemed expert in all things to do with tax and accounting, Greg Valles from Valles Accountants, to talk about the federal economic stimulus package that's now available in Australia, I think to be signed off mid-March. So Greg, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Nikki. I'm glad to be here. Look, thanks for having me. I think what we really want to get the message out to people is to have their professionals advise them or get to the understanding of what the economic stimulus means at the moment. It's called the Economic Stimulus Package, and it was a media release on the 12th of March 2020. And basically, I don't want to confuse people with too much technicality, but I'll give a very broad understanding. In terms of the short summary is that there's an instant asset write-off proposal between $30,000 and $150,000 for businesses with turnover of less than 500 million. And there's also accelerated depreciation rates for businesses with turnover of less than 500 million. They're looking at the moment, the details are a bit sketchy with the BAS refunds, business activity statements. They're looking at giving 50% of the business activity statements payable with a max capped up to 25,000. We'll still yet to understand how that for what period and when that's going to occur. So that's another thing that's happening. Look, there's stimulus for the household of $750 of people in the social security system as well. We encourage people to look at this economic stimulus on the website. We've got the treasurygovernment.gov.au and just their response to the coronavirus. I would encourage everyone to talk to their professional, the accountant professional, as to how we would relate to them. Some of the stimulus relates to as at the end of 30th of June 2020. So what's the relevance of this? What we do is that we have a tax planning meeting for all clients before 30th of June, and we talk to them at detail. It might be now that you need to speak to them earlier and understand how it's relative to you. So we encourage you to have a look at the technical and aspects of what's happening. Also, you might talk to your local member as to what else that can be done to stimulate and provide for small business, etc.
So let's just put a little pin drop in this. This, just to set an umbrella, the federal government economic stimulus package is available for, and then just bullet point underneath that. So people listening to that go, right, that's me or that's me. Is this available for every single individual that pays tax or that's on the government support, or is it just small businesses? Just to give a little bit more understanding for those listening that haven't even heard about this properly yet.
Yeah, so for any business that is under 500 million turnover, they can get an instant tax write-off between $30,000 and $150,000. So whatever asset you have to buy for the business, usually there'd be depreciation rates that you would take off, and you don't get the full deduction. In this instance, you get the full deduction. That's invaluable if you're going to make some structural and stimulated decisions to ramp up the business or for whatever you want. So that's very, very helpful and useful. And there's going to be accelerated depreciation rates as well for people in that environment. So look, really, again, it's very holistic of what the government has provided. The detail will come out soon, I suspect, with more explanatory memorandums from the ATO and how that's going to get administered, particularly from the tax side of the of the discounted on 50% of your BASs up to cap of 25. So that detail is yet to be understood. So it's encouraging what the government's done. I think there's plenty more for them to do and for assistance for small businesses. And I'm sure that there's been a lot of pressure from all of the bodies to ensure that that occurs, to encourage people and businesses to be productive and still carry on.
Right. I mean, I've just been getting some messages coming through now on some of the other live feeds because I knew I was talking to you about this. And I think that our best course of leadership in this, Greg, together is to give people 3 next immediate steps off the back of this show that they can do and we can put in the show notes. So number 1 is if you talk to your accountant and find out, that would be the first step, correct?
In the first instance, I think reach out to the accountant, because some people worry about paying the accountant, but I think if it'll be worth every cent for him to be able to give you some very solid advice as to how you can function in this very, very difficult environment. It's money well spent.
And that's the thing, like just before we go on, the importance of having the right experts around you. If you don't feel confident, or maybe you've just kind of winged it up until now and coping and just kind of not paying any attention to your finances being your strategy, we would like to say this is a great time to look under the hood and go, who's in my pit crew? Who's in my dream team that are experts in this field? That is my accountant interested, actively engaged, and giving us the updates? Very important. And then go on to the website. We'll give you the website link at the bottom of this post and in the YouTube description box on where you can find out the government portal to actually read more about this information. But you're allowed to ask questions of the people you hire who are doing your accounting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it behoves them, it's a duty of care that they will provide. They're professionally capable of doing. This is their profession. This is when you need them. And in this, I think you will know the mantle of your accountant and your professional when you really need their assistance in time of need. And I'm sure there are very, very, very exceptionally talented professionals out there that will see you through this. So I encourage you to seek that assistance.
And if you are stuck and you don't know where to turn, please leave us a comment, because we can direct you in your state. We can also reach out and help you or point you in the right direction, and also give you some questions to ask your accountant. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and we always say this, Greg, is know your numbers. Don't be afraid to lift up the hood. Are you looking at your bank balances? Do you know what bills you have in your household to pay? I mean, really, fear is not a strategy. Ignorance and avoidance isn't a strategy. Being curious and being informed is going to be your best ammunition at this point in time.
Correct. Absolutely. I mean, now is the time. It's like a bit of a call to arms in a lot of ways, and that is know your business. Know your business better than any other professional, to be quite honest. The professional can guide you in certain ways, but you know your business very, very well. And sticking to that and being in that and aware of that will get you through in many, many ways. And be realistic, though. The realistic things is that if things are getting difficult, know when to go and when to slow, or when to take other options, okay? Because the awareness of that, you don't want to get into a further hole. Be very realistic, be practical, be opportunist, be positive, but be realistic at the same time. And a good professional will guide you through that.
Exactly. If you don't need to go into debt, like I always think, lean times call for lean measures. And what is your thin red line? Do you even know how much you spend on your basic operating budget? Have you looked at that lately? Like with great applications like Xero and whatever else, there are great P&L statements that you can do that show percentages of your profitability and the products that work really well for you. And it's actually a really exciting time. If you've been told over all these years that you're not smart enough to know your numbers, or you weren't good at maths at school, or you don't have to own that story anymore. I think as an owner, or even an employee that wants to manage your own budget for your future, just get savvy. It's an exciting time to learn. You have the time now, you have the tools. And the other thing is, you can only submit and utilize the opportunities for subsidization and economic stimulus when you can give them the right information. So this is your time to do your due diligence and get those numbers organized, that if you
Absolutely. Look at your line items. Look at what your revenue streams are. Be very, very detailed and analytical in terms of what it's costing. Some people are now looking at, I've told a particular client to re-examine every single expense. What's important, what's not, what can you do with that, what's discretionary, be very, very smart about each of those detail and the expenses. Also look at another way of increasing your revenue or maintaining the client, all of your suppliers, all of your people that you're dealing with. Pick up the phone, speak to everyone, get the communication going, understand who you're dealing, what they're thinking, know your environment, pick up the call. Communication is massively important.
I really just want to come back to one thing you and I always talk about, Greg, is relationships. The reason I find this time so wonderful, it's like when a fire sweeps through somewhere, as we all know too well in Australia, you see the shoots of green blooming again through complete adversity. And this is the point, is those relationships and our ability to have the contact with our clients and support each other through this is going to be where your growth exists. So look at those opportunities, know your numbers, realize an economic stimulus package is not just a handout, it's there to create sustainable success for our economy for the long term. And that means you adulting, stepping up as a leader. So if you don't feel that you're getting the right advice from accountants, Greg and I will give you a way to reach out. We'll give you the website, the official page for the government economic plan that you can look at. We will give you some top tips on how to organize maybe P&L, balance sheet, cash flow, just a few identifications that you can use for your own financial health. And then I would also say, Greg, not to panic, because this is an opportunity for you to declutter and come out on top with a tight game plan.
All right, Nikki. Absolutely. Great.
All right. So thank you for your time. If you want to know more about Greg, you can hop onto vallesaccountants.com.au. I'll put all the links there. Greg will be monitoring the stimulus package, the effects of that and how you can utilize that. There will be more from their organization, as well as keep an eye out from your local and state governments and your experts, of course, your accounting and tax firms that are all there to give you the right advice. If you've got questions, please reach out. Greg at vallesaccountants.com.au, Nikki at thevitalitycoach.com.au. This is a time of opportunity. So dive deep, be transparent, communicate, and please remember that your health is also your wealth. So we'd rather you take action than sitting there at home worrying about something. Please reach out if you've got questions. Greg, one last parting remark on the stimulus package.
Oh, look, I think be very, very open to what's occurring here. I would say that you should, particularly if your business is needing some further assistance, that you should let government know that this is what it's all about. This is what they're serving us for now at the moment. They need to show that leadership to assist businesses and stimulate the economy. Make your voice known. If your particular industry is suffering because of the result, or someone's not ignoring your industry or etc., be a voice. Go to your association. Go again via your accountant, your local member. Make it known that you need the assistance and for the greater good. And together, collectively, we should all get through this.
Thanks so much, Greg. Great advice as always. Greg from Valles Accountants, based in Melbourne, working in Australian tax accounting and on global as well. Please reach out and go check them out. Greg, thank you for your time. I wish you and your family and all your staff a safe and prosperous, productive time. Thank you for being on the Mojo Maker Show and sharing your knowledge. Guys, more on the vitalitycoach.com.au, YouTube, Vitality Coach TV. Please like, share, subscribe, and ask us your questions. We're here to help empower you to ride through the storm. Until next time, you stay healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Thanks for tuning in. As always, we'd love your review on iTunes, or you can jump online to thevitalitycoach.com.au. For more from Nikki, to sign up for the Monday Mojo and the Vitality Coach TV on YouTube.